That spiral cut ham sitting in your fridge right now, you bought the same brand your mother always did. USDA inspectors, class action lawsuits, and the World Health Organization's own cancer research agency have all published findings on what is actually inside American ham. One brand's 3-ounce serving delivers over half your entire daily sodium limit. That is more salt per bite than a bag of potato chips. And the worst offender is sold at a premium behind the deli counter. People pay more for it because they believe expensive means safe. I will show you 3 words printed on every ham label that tell you instantly how much of what you are buying is actually meat. 9 to walk away from, 2 that earned your trust. Counting down from concerning to genuinely alarming, starting with the brand everyone else copies. Number 11, Budig. Carl Budig and Company has been family-owned since 1943, and for most of those decades, it has been one of the cheapest deli meats on any American shelf. You can find a 2-ounce pack for about $1, sometimes less. That price is the first thing that should tell you something. Flip the package over. The ingredient list includes ham, water, salt, potassium lactate, maple sugar, dextrose, carrageenan, sodium diacetate, sodium erythrosorbate, sodium nitrite, and sodium phosphate. That is 12 ingredients for a product that could be made with 3. The company's own label discloses that up to 15% of the weight of the package is a flavoring solution of water and salt. So for every dollar you spend, roughly 15 cents of it is buying you salt water. Carrageenan is worth pausing on. It comes from red seaweed, and the food industry uses it as a thickener and stabilizer, essentially glue that holds the reconstituted meat together so it slices neatly. The FDA still approves it, but citizen petitions have been filed to ban it, and peer-reviewed research published in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives has linked degraded carrageenan to gastrointestinal inflammation in animal studies. It is still in the Budig ingredient list. One serving of Budig ham also delivers about 25% of your daily recommended sodium intake. Eat 2 servings, which is easy to do on a sandwich, and you have already consumed half your salt for the day before you add the bread or the mustard. The brand at number 2 has printed every ingredient it uses on the front of the package since the day it launched. We get there near the end. The company also lists sodium nitrite, the same preservative the WHO flagged as part of the Group 1 carcinogen classification for processed meat in 2015. At 2 ounces per package, the serving size looks small enough to seem harmless. But Budig sells 22-ounce megapacks now, and families who buy them rarely stop at 1 serving. Think of Budig like a sponge somebody sold you as a steak. It absorbs cheap liquid, gains weight, and you pay for water dressed up as pork. Budig built its business on price, and the price is the tell. The one below it managed to go even cheaper. Number 10. Bar S. Bar S Foods, based out of Phoenix, Arizona, is one of the largest producers of hot dogs and deli meat in the country. The brand has always competed on price, and in some regions it is the absolute cheapest packaged ham you can find. In 2016, Bar S recalled nearly 700,000 pounds of its products, including ham and turkey, over concerns of listeria, monocytogenes contamination. The USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service classified it as a Class 1 recall, meaning there was a reasonable probability that eating the product could cause serious health consequences or death. That is not the middle classification. That is the top. The ingredient list on a standard package of Bar S chopped ham reads like a chemical supply order. Ham, mechanically separated chicken, water, corn syrup, modified food starch, salt, potassium lactate, sodium phosphates, sodium diacetate, sodium erythrorbate, sodium nitrite. Notice the second ingredient on some of their products. Mechanically separated chicken. That means the product labeled ham contains poultry that has been forced through a sieve under high pressure to strip the bones. The USDA allows this, but it also requires the label to disclose it. The problem is that almost nobody standing in the aisle turns the package around. The sodium nitrite and corn syrup are familiar names by now, but mechanically separated poultry in a product called ham is a category of its own. It is cheaper than pork, it stretches the yield, and it allows the company to sell a product at a price that real ham could never reach. Imagine ordering a wool sweater online and receiving one that is 60% acrylic. It is still called a sweater, it is technically legal, but it is not what the name made you expect. Some Bar S ham products are also classified by the USDA as ham and water product, the lowest designation for ham sold in America. You will learn exactly what that means in a few minutes. And once you do, you will never look at a ham label the same way. Bar S is not hiding what it does. It is printing it on the label in a font size you would need reading glasses to make out. Now, a store brand with the biggest shelf footprint in the country. Number 9. Great Value. Great Value is Walmart's house brand, and it is in more American kitchens than almost any other name on this list. The price is the draw. A 16-ounce package of Great Value cooked ham runs about $2.50 in most stores, roughly half the price of a national brand. The ingredient list on Great Value cooked ham includes ham, water, dextrose, contains less than 2% of salt, sodium phosphates, sodium erythorbate, sodium nitrite, potassium chloride. The addition of potassium chloride is notable. It is a salt substitute that allows the label to report a slightly lower sodium number per serving while still delivering a salty taste. It is a labeling strategy, not a health decision. Sodium nitrite is present here, and it is worth understanding exactly what it does. In 2015, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified processed meat, including ham cured with nitrites, as a Group 1 carcinogen. Group 1, the same classification as tobacco smoking and asbestos. 22 scientists from 10 countries reviewed over 800 studies to reach that conclusion. They found that each 50-gram daily portion of processed meat, about 2 slices of deli ham, increases colorectal cancer risk by 18%. That is not a fringe claim. That is the World Health Organization. Great Value ham is produced under contract by large processors whose names do not appear on the package. You are trusting Walmart's procurement team to choose the supplier, and you are trusting a supplier with no name recognition and no public accountability to make the product right. Buying ham at this price is like buying a house without knowing who built it. The price is attractive until you realize nobody signed the foundation. The USDA requires every ham to carry one of 3 legal names on its label, and those 3 words tell you more than any marketing ever will. That reveal is coming in about 4 minutes. Speaking of labels, the next one wraps its product in the word farm without owning a single animal. Number 8. Hillshire Farm. Hillshire Farm was founded in New London, Wisconsin in 1934, and the name still sounds like it comes from a place where somebody raises livestock. It does not. Hillshire Farm is a brand owned by Tyson Foods, one of the largest meat processing corporations on Earth. Tyson reported over $53 billion in revenue in fiscal year 2023. The label on Hillshire Farm smoked deli ham states contains up to 28% of a seasoning solution. That means for every pound of ham you buy, nearly a third of it, by the brand's own admission, is injected liquid. Water, vinegar, salt, sodium phosphate, dextrose, and celery juice powder. You are paying ham prices for a product that is almost 30% solution. The sodium is a problem across the entire Hillshire Farm ham lineup. 2 ounces of the smoked ham accounts for 27% of your daily sodium allotment. A standard sandwich uses 3 to 4 ounces, which means one sandwich can deliver over half your daily salt before you even count the bread or the cheese. Hillshire Farm uses the phrase, "no nitrates or nitrites added," on its packaging with an asterisk. The asterisk leads to a line that reads, "except for those naturally occurring in celery juice powder and sea salt." Celery juice powder is concentrated nitrate. A 2019 study published in the journal Meat Science found that celery powder cured meats often contain nitrate and nitrite levels comparable to conventionally cured products. The label is technically accurate and practically meaningless. It is like a car company advertising no gasoline engines because they run on ethanol. The combustion still happens. They just changed the name of the fuel. There is also no publicly available information about which farms supply Hillshire Farm's pork or how the animals are raised. The brand committed to eliminating gestation crates from its supply chain, but there is no third-party certified humane audit on the label. Compare that to the brand at number 1 on this list, which names its farms and publishes its raising protocols on its website. Same grocery store aisle, very different levels of transparency. Hillshire Farm built its identity on a farmhouse image. The ingredient list tells a factory story. Now a brand so confident in its name that it prints it in all capital letters on every package. Number 7. Oscar Mayer. Oscar Mayer has been in American kitchens since 1883. The brand is owned by Kraft Heinz, a company with a market capitalization of roughly $40 billion. If there is a name Americans associate with deli ham, this is the one. Pick up a package of Oscar Mayer chopped ham and water product. Read that name again. Ham and water product. That is not a marketing slogan. That is a USDA mandated classification, and it tells you exactly how much meat is in the package. Here is the label trick I promised you. The USDA requires every packaged ham in America to carry one of three legal names. The first is simply ham, which means it contains at least 20.5% protein and has been minimally processed. The second is ham, water added, which means the protein has dropped to between 17 and 18.5% because more liquid has been injected. The third, and the one Oscar Mayer prints right on the front of some of its packages, is ham and water product. That designation means the protein content has fallen below 17%. The product contains so much added water, starch, and filler that the USDA will not even let the company call it ham without the qualifier. The chopped ham version lists corn syrup as the third ingredient, right after ham and water. Corn syrup in a meat product. The full ingredient list includes modified food starch, sodium phosphates, sodium propionate, sodium diacetate, sodium benzoate, sodium ascorbate, sodium nitrite, flavor, and smoke flavor. That is 13 ingredients in a product your grandmother would have made with one. Kraft Heinz, Oscar Mayer's parent company, also offers a deli fresh line that uses cultured celery juice and cherry powder instead of sodium nitrite. That sounds like an upgrade until you read the fine print. That product contains up to 24% of a seasoning solution and is browned with caramel color. Nearly a quarter of the package is injected liquid, and the color of the meat is not from smoking. It is from a dye. Oscar Mayer is not making ham. It is engineering a product that tastes enough like ham to carry the name. Where Oscar Mayer cuts costs with water, the next brand charges a premium for essentially the same additives. Number 6. Hormel Cure 81. Hormel calls Cure 81 America's first name in ham. The brand has been around since the 1960s, and it markets itself as a premium, whole-muscle, hardwood smoked product. The price reflects that positioning. A Cure 81 boneless ham runs between $4 and $6 a pound depending on the cut, sometimes higher. Read the ingredient list on a Cure 81 classic boneless ham steak, cured with water, salt, potassium lactate, brown sugar, modified potato starch, sugar, sodium phosphates, sodium diacetate, sodium erythorbate, sodium nitrite. That is 10 ingredients, including 2 different types of sugar and the same sodium nitrite that the WHO's cancer researchers flagged in 2015. Modified potato starch is a binder, there to absorb water and hold the injected solution inside the meat so it does not weep liquid in the package. The consumer sees a firm, dry-looking ham. What they are actually looking at is starch doing the work that protein used to do. The Cure 81 spiral-sliced holiday ham adds potassium lactate and dehydrated pork stock to the list. Dehydrated pork stock sounds natural until you realize it is there to mask the diluted flavor that comes from injecting water into the muscle. The meat has been watered down. The pork stock puts the taste back. Hormel is a $13 billion company. They know how to make ham with 3 ingredients. They choose to make it with 10 because each additive shaves cost per pound and extends shelf life by days. And days are money at this scale. The holiday spiral-sliced version also includes 2 types of sugar, dextrose and brown sugar, alongside the sodium nitrite. Multiple sugars in a single ham product is another cost engineering trick. Different sugars caramelize at different temperatures, which lets the manufacturer create an appealing glaze on the surface without using honey or any single expensive sweetener. It is like paying for a mahogany table and finding out the legs are a particle board with a veneer. The surface looks expensive. The structure does not match. One brand at number 1 has never used modified starch in its entire history. Roughly 6 more minutes. Now a brand whose story goes beyond ingredients and into ownership. Number 5. Smithfield. Smithfield Foods was founded in Smithfield, Virginia in 1936. For decades, it was America's largest pork processor, a company built on Virginia ham traditions going back generations. In 2013, Shuanghui International Holdings, now known as WH Group, purchased Smithfield for $4,720 million in cash. The total deal value, including debt, reached $7.1 billion. It was the largest Chinese acquisition of an American company in history at the time. WH Group is a publicly traded Chinese corporation headquartered in Hong Kong. It also owns Hainan Shuanghui Investment and Development, the biggest meat processing company in Asia. In 2011, before the acquisition, Shuanghui was connected to a health scare involving the drug clenbuterol, a fat-burning agent used to produce leaner pork. Hundreds of people who consumed products sourced from the supplier became sick, and the incident triggered meat recalls across China. Smithfield's own American record is not clean either. In 1997, a federal judge fined Smithfield $12.5 $3.6 million for Clean Water Act violations at its Smithfield, Virginia, packing plant. It was the largest Clean Water Act fine in history at the time. Investigators found that Smithfield-owned companies had exceeded dumping limits for coliform and phosphorus and other dangerous substances. The company was also found to have faked documents and disposed of unflattering water quality test results. In eastern North Carolina, attorneys beginning in 2013 built 26 lawsuits involving 500 plaintiffs who lived near Smithfield subsidiary Murphy Brown's hog farms, citing odor, nausea, and health concerns from waste lagoons. The last genuine Smithfield ham is reportedly on display in a Virginia museum. Much of what carries the name today is made by a company whose parent is headquartered 9,000 miles from the town where the brand was born. Smithfield Foods also encompasses brands you might not realize it owns, including Armour, Eckrick, Gwaltney, and Kretschmar. If you have been avoiding Smithfield and buying one of those names instead, you have been buying the same company. Smithfield insists all its U.S. products are produced domestically under USDA regulation, and that is true. But the profits, the corporate decisions, and the strategic direction all flow through WH Group in Hong Kong. Selling your grandmother a Virginia ham that answers to Hong Kong is a particular kind of deception. It is not illegal, but the label does not tell you. Everything below here costs more than everything above it, and somehow the ingredients get worse. Number 4. Honeybaked ham. The Honeybaked Ham Company sells millions of spiral-cut hams every holiday season. The signature sweet glaze and the patented spiral cut are what built the brand, and the price tag reflects it. A bone-in honey-baked ham costs roughly $9 to $10 a pound, making it among the most expensive hams sold in America. For that premium, here is what the label contains. Ham cured with water, salt, sodium lactate, sodium phosphates, sodium diacetate, sodium erythorbate, sodium nitrite, glaze made with sugar, gelatin, paprika, maltodextrin, modified food starch, dextrose, and honey powder. Not honey. Honey powder, which is dehydrated honey blended with a carrier like maltodextrin. The brand is named after an ingredient it may use only in powdered form. The NOVA food classification system, used by researchers worldwide, classifies honey-baked ham as ultra-processed food. The real number that matters here is sodium. A single 3-ounce serving of the boneless ham, roughly 2 thin slices, contains 1,180 milligrams of sodium. That is 51% of the USDA's daily recommended limit in one small portion. Serve yourself a holiday-sized plate, and you can exceed an entire day's sodium allowance in a single sitting. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams per day and considers 1,500 milligrams ideal. 2 servings of honey-baked ham gets you past both numbers. The company does not list its full ingredient panel on its website. Shoppers have to photograph the label in-store or find it through third-party databases. If you are confident in your product, you put the ingredients on your homepage. If you are not, you make customers hunt for them. The glaze itself lists sugar, gelatin, and modified food starch before the honey powder appears. You are paying a premium named after honey for a product where sugar is the primary sweetener and honey is the last thing added, in powdered form, mixed with a filler. Paying $10 a pound for sodium nitrite, and honey powder is like hiring a private chef and finding out they microwave everything. The presentation is premium. The contents are not. This is the brand from the intro, the one behind the deli counter, the one people have paid more for, year after year, because they believe the premium price guaranteed something the others could not. Number 3. Boar's Head. Boar's Head has built its entire identity on quality. No grocery store shelf, no plastic clamshell, sliced to order behind glass by a person in an apron. That theater is intentional. It positions the product as a cut above everything else in the store, and the price reflects it. Boar's Head. Virginia ham sells for roughly $12 to $14 a pound, depending on the retailer. In July 2024, Boar's Head recalled its Strasburger brand liverwurst after it tested positive for Listeria monocytogenes. Within weeks, the recall expanded to 71 products, including Virginia ham, Italian Capi-style ham, bologna, bacon, and salami. 7 million pounds of meat total. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the outbreak resulted in 10 deaths and 60 hospitalizations across at least 19 states. It was the largest Listeria outbreak in the United States since 2011. The USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service investigated the Boar's Head facility in Jarrett, Virginia, and filed 69 reports of noncompliance earlier in 2024, before the outbreak went public. Inspectors documented insects, mold, and mildew inside the plant. In January 2025, the USDA concluded that inadequate sanitation practices at the facility contributed to the outbreak. Boar's Head permanently closed the Jarrett plant in September 2024 and discontinued its liverwurst line. A class action settlement of $3.1 million was reached in 2025, covering consumers who purchased any of the recalled products between May 10th and August 12th, 2024. A wrongful death lawsuit was filed in Florida by the widow of a 79-year-old man who died after eating Boar's Head ham purchased at Publix. The lawsuit alleged negligence and breach of contract, 69 non-compliance reports, insects, mold, 10 funerals, and the only reason anybody bought the product in the first place was the word premium on a sign behind the counter. Every verdict in this video gets rechecked next month in the label report, and the link is below. 9 brands. Every one of them knew how to make clean ham and chose not to. They injected water to increase weight, added corn syrup and modified starch to cut costs, and used sodium nitrite knowing that the WHO classified it as part of a Group 1 carcinogen chain. When the systems failed, the recalls arrived in the millions of pounds. So what is actually left on the shelf? Not the bargain picks, not the ones that cleaned up one ingredient and kept the other 9. These two made fundamentally different choices from the start, on the same shelf, at the same freight cost, in the same industry. They are not the least bad. They are built differently, ranked on 3 things: whether the ingredient list fits on one line, whether the animals were raised without antibiotics, and whether the company publishes what it uses without making you hunt for it. Number 2. Applegate. Applegate has been making natural and organic meats for over 35 years. The company was acquired by Hormel in 2015, but it continues to operate as an independent brand with its own sourcing standards, its own farms, and its own ingredient philosophy. That distinction matters because Hormel's own Cure 81 landed at number 6 on this list, and Applegate's ingredient panel looks nothing like it. Pick up a package of Applegate Organics Black Forest ham. Turn it over. The ingredient list reads organic pork, water, sea salt, contains 2% or less of organic cane sugar and cultured celery powder. 5 ingredients. That is the entire list. No sodium nitrite, no corn syrup, no modified food starch, no potassium lactate, no carrageenan, no flavor or smoke flavor, hiding unnamed chemical compounds. The pork is USDA certified organic, which means the animals were raised on organic vegetarian feed with no antibiotics ever. Not reduced antibiotics. Not antibiotics used responsibly. Never. Applegate's farms are also certified humane by a third-party auditor, and the company exceeds California's Proposition 12 requirements for pig confinement, meaning no gestation crates at any point in the animal's life. The Environmental Working Group evaluated Applegate's organic Black Forest ham and identified 0 artificial or industrial ingredients. That is not a self-reported claim. That is a third-party watchdog organization running the ingredient panel against its own database. Where to buy it? Applegate Organics is stocked at Whole Foods, Kroger, Publix, Safeway, Target, and most major grocery chains. A 6-ounce package of the organic Black Forest ham costs roughly $5.49. That is about 92 cents per ounce. Oscar Mayer's chopped ham and water product sells for about 16 cents per ounce, but Applegate's price is per ounce of actual pork. Oscar Mayer's price is per ounce of pork, water, corn syrup, and 13 additives. When you calculate what you are paying for meat versus what you are paying for filler, Applegate costs less per ounce of real food. Applegate is proof that clean ham exists at grocery store prices, and that the companies who add 12 ingredients are not doing it because they have to. They are doing it because it is cheaper for them. Number 1. Niman Ranch. Niman Ranch is a network of more than 750 independent family farms and ranchers across the United States. The company was founded in 1970 on a ranch in Bolinas, California, and its raising protocols were developed with the guidance of Dr. Temple Grandin, one of the world's foremost authorities on animal welfare. Every Niman Ranch product is certified humane, and the standards are among the strictest in the industry. The ingredient list on Niman Ranch Applewood smoked uncured ham reads uncured ham prepared with with water, salt, turbinado sugar, sodium phosphate, and cultured celery powder. 6 ingredients. No sodium nitrite, no corn syrup, no modified starch, no carrageenan, no mechanically separated poultry, no flavor or smoke flavor. The smoking is done over real applewood, not atomized liquid smoke injected into the brine. Every animal in the Niman Ranch network is raised on pasture or in deeply bedded pens with access to sunlight and fresh air. No antibiotics, ever. No added hormones, ever. No animal byproducts in the feed. The pigs are raised on a 100% vegetarian diet, and the company publishes its raising protocols publicly. You do not have to photograph the label in a store or search a third-party database. It is on their website in full next to the name of the farm. Where to buy it? Niman Ranch ham is available at Whole Foods, Costco, seasonally, and through Purdue Farms' direct-to-consumer website. An 8-ounce uncured ham steak on Amazon costs roughly $7.49, which is about 94 cents per ounce. The Costco spiral cut half ham runs about $3.99 per pound, which is roughly 25 cents per ounce. At that Costco price, Niman Ranch is cheaper per ounce than Honeybaked ham, which charges $9 to $10 per pound for a product loaded with sodium nitrite and honey powder. You are paying less for the ham that skipped the additives. Niman Ranch has never reformulated its ingredient list to cut costs, has never faced a USDA recall for contamination, and has never been acquired by a foreign conglomerate. 750 families, one standard, and a label short enough to read in the checkout line. The sodium nitrite in Honeybaked ham's recipe was not there by accident, and it will not disappear next quarter by principle. Ingredients shift when suppliers change contracts, quietly, without a press release. The label report rechecks every verdict each month and flags recalls before your next grocery run. Scan the code on screen or use the first link below. $10 a month, cancel anytime. Go annual and 5 months are free. Just want the method? Both guides are $15 one time. Same link.